Hello, this is David Gemeinhardt for the RASKB, the Royal Asiatic Society Korea branch. On this beautiful spring morning, we're off to do the Bukchon walking tour, led by Professor David Mason, who is a great expert, among other things, on Korean mountain worship. And he's led this particular walk many times, but I've never been, so I'm really looking forward to it. So please stay tuned for sights, sounds, and images from Bukchon in Seoul. This is a new house in Bukchon, and as you can see, even a lot of the new construction is done in a quote-unquote traditional style. We know that this is not traditional because it has more than one story. So in Bukchon, even the graffiti art has a traditional theme. Somebody's painted a map of the old Seoul, which was centered here, on this wall. So we're now deep inside the heart of Bukchon, and this is a local area that is still very traditional in nature, as you can see. Very low rise. At this angle you wouldn't even know that you're in Seoul.
And see the architecture. You just see the outsides of the houses as we walk around here. That's too bad. But then, in response, the government was able to get a hold of some authentic old houses and move them together into this compound, which is called the Bukchon Traditional Culture Center, so that people could come in and actually look in the rooms.
And this is the famous Alley 31, which is now a major tourist attraction. I've been standing here for about 5 minutes waiting for a relatively quiet moment to get some images, and we can see Namsan off in the distance there. I'm here now with David Mason, who is the leader of today's excursion, and he's done this one many times, I'm sure. David, how many times have you done this particular tour?
About 20 by now.
20 by now. Wow. So the first time you did it must have been some years ago.
Oh yeah, it was really more of a sense of exploration back then. Yeah, talking 15, 16 years ago probably.
Wow. I imagine it's probably changed a lot in the time that you've been coming here.
So much. It becomes so much more of a popular tourist area and a happening place of cafes and boutiques and new guest houses and tea houses, many of whom are very charming and just add to the atmosphere of the place.
I see. So if you could recommend 3 top places for people to visit in Bukchon, what would you recommend?
Well, the famous Alley 31 and its upper environs are perhaps a primary thing for getting the views, and right next to that is the Bukchon Observatory alleyway walk that gives you great views over the houses, and then secondarily the Gahwae-dong area that's kind of across the road over to the east of that, with some very nice alleyways and some great little museums, such as the Gahwae Folklore Museum, that I think is really worthwhile and has a great collection of unique things. And beyond that, the Buddhist Museum, the Buddhist Art Museum, all the way to the eastern side near Cheongdok Palace, is a great place to visit with some very excellent artworks that you can see up close.
Those are good tips, thank you. And you also lead some other excursions for the RAS, including the Jirisan one, am I right?
Yeah, yes. Something Jirisan. My specialty is really mountains and religions. So sacred mountains and great temples or shrines at sacred mountains is what I specialize in. So I do like Jirisan and sometimes other mountains, and the Inwangsan mountain right here in Seoul, the Benevolent King Mountain with the most famous shaman shrines. I tend to do that at least once a year.
And in fact, that's happening in May, isn't it?
This May,
yes.
Coming up, May 18th, I believe. I will be doing that tour for RAS.
Well, I would encourage our viewers to go on that tour because you've literally written the book on mountain worship, haven't you?
Yeah. My book, Spirit of the Mountains, about Korea's Sanshin, or mountain spirit, is the first book of its kind in any language, and I believe continues to be so 15 years later.
Right.
It is out of print and unavailable, and being sold for very high prices on the international auction book sites. But we do hope to get a fresh second edition out in another year or so.
Well, that would be great news for RES members because we get it at a discount then.
All right.
Well, thank you very much for today's excursion, and I look forward to seeing you next month for the Inwangsan excursion.
Great. It's my pleasure.